Okay, so let's look at the word problem. How do I set up and solve a word problem using substitution? So the first thing you want to do is read your word problem. We have the perimeter of a rectangle is 68 centimeters. The length of the rectangle is 4 more than twice the width. Find the dimensions of the rectangle. If you struggle with identifying your variables, here's where you need to look. You need to read the sentence. Sometimes it is in question form, where it is asking you for an answer, okay? It's asking you to find something, solve for something. Here they're asking us to find the dimensions of the rectangle. Well, do you see this word dimensions? It's plural, which is telling you that there's more than one. More than one dimension. Well, if there's more than one, which dimensions, remember dimensions is another word for side, so it's really asking you for which sides of the rectangle. Well guys, on the rectangle, what type of sides do you have? You have a length and you have a width. So they are asking you to find your length and width. Those are your two variables. One is for length, one is for width. So they're asking you for the length in centimeters and the width in centimeters. So there are my two variables. So I picked the symbol L for my variable for length and W to represent my width in centimeters. So those are my two symbols I'm going to use for those words when we start reading our word problem. So now we're going to go sentence by sentence. So if I look at the sentence number 1, the perimeter of a rectangle is 68 centimeters. Remember, you want to find words that tell you total, is, was, or a total. Those words are going to turn into your equal sign. I see that word right here, is. Now, there are English words before the word is in the sentence, which means I have to leave space in my equation for there to be symbols and numbers for these English words to show up. So I'm going to leave a little space and I'm going to put my equal sign here. Okay, and now I'm going to start working. So the perimeter of a rectangle. I know that the words the, of, and a in English are just there so that it makes sense when I read it out loud. I also do not need the word for my shape because once I know it's a rectangle, that word has served its purpose. It is not going to turn into a math symbol or number for me. So the only word that leaves left is perimeter, and I need to know, how do I find a perimeter? I know that I have to add all sides. So I know that I'm going to have the operation of addition, and then I just have to think, what sides do I have in a rectangle? Well, I know I have a width, and I know I have a length. So if I just write that, that's telling me I have one length plus one width is going to get me my perimeter. And I know that's not true because a rectangle has 4 sides. It has 2 lengths and 2 widths that I have to add up if I'm going to calculate my perimeter correctly. So these are the numbers and symbols I would use for the perimeter if my shape is a rectangle. So if I add up my 2 lengths and my 2 widths, it has to equal, so now I'm going to read after the word is, because that's where my equal sign is, 68 centimeters. Well, I know that any unit of measurement, so like inches, feet, miles, days, hours, those words don't count. So I have to say equals 68.